What's going on, Movie Meals? Here we are, top 10 movies of the year. We've done top 50 of the decade. Be watching all those. Watch all the great channel stuff. But this is our top 10 movies of the year. There are movies we have not seen on the lists. There are movies. 1917, which is a lot of people's number ones of the year for critics, we have not seen because we live in Nowhereville. We live on Jakku. Uncut Gems, which I'm seeing in 2 days.
Parasite.
Parasite.
Which I will see. I am going to be seeing
I'm
that
also going to
soon.
see that. Parasite. Honey Boy. There's movies I still want to see that might be contenders, but we have to go off of when Kyle and I were able to film. We wanted to do it while he was in town before I don't see him for a few months. So we're going to just jump into it of our top 10 of the year. Kyle started off with a couple honorable mentions in your number 10, super fast.
All right, honorable mentions. Shazam, Us, Ford vs. Ferrari, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, Spider-Man Far From Home, Booksmart, and Little Women.
You just named a bunch of movies in my top 10.
I know, but I had a lot of honorable mentions. I liked this year. I thought this was a very good year. But number 10 for me would be A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood, the Mr. Rogers movie. I was not able to do a review with you, Alex, but what I will say is that this movie is so heartwarming and so touching. It does a great job at establishing who Mr. Rogers was as not the TV personality, but as a person, and how he just can have his inspirations not just be attributed to kids, but just for people all over. And I thought it was just such a sweet and thought-out movie. I loved it so much.
Yeah, so my honorable mentions are going to be... holy moly, I had to tune in here. Like Joker is an honorable mention for me. It was, I can't even think of it. Oh my gosh, I just saw so many movies that need to be on my top 10.
Right? It was a good year.
I've got to change things up on the fly here. Joker was one for me. Ready or Not is one for me as an honorable mention.
Too, yeah.
Spider-Man Far From Home is an honorable mention. As well, I'm going to go with Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, which was on my top 10, and I just knocked it off.
Oh,
but I saw a movie I forgot about that I'm going to put in that spot. But Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, I love, especially the last 30 minutes. So, yeah. Kyle, what you did your number 10.
I already did my number 10.
What was your number 10 again?
It was A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood.
Oh, that's right. Oh, that's the one. A Beautiful Day is an honorable mention for me. A Beautiful Day is an honorable mention. My number 10 is Rise of Skywalker. I've seen the film twice now. Once I see it, I'm aiming for 4 times. That's when I'm going to make my new video. As much as in the spoiler review, I kind of do talk down on it. I do really like the movie, and it feels wrong for me not to have a Skywalker saga film being on my top 10. And so I wanted to put it at number 10 when Last Jedi and Force Awakens were number 1 and number 2 respectively of those years. So I wanted to put it on. There is a lot I like in that movie. It is a lot of fun. I get why people really like it. I get why people don't like it. And that's my number 10 of the year. So yeah, what's your number 9?
My number 9 is The Peanut Butter Falcon, the most underrated movie of this year. I love just about everything about it. I thought that was just such a feel-good story. I thought it was a story about how we just need to be kind to all types of people, no matter how different they maybe are from us on the outside. There's still people on the inside. It touched me on a personal level, on a level when it comes to my own personal life and my family, but just on a level as a movie where I just am floored of it from beginning to end. I got so attached to it that much.
Great movie.
Yeah.
My number 9 is the Netflix film Marriage Story. Marriage Story is 2 of the best acting performances of the year with Adam Driver and Scarlett Joe.
Sure.
It's got a great supporting cast.
Yeah.
And it's relatable if you've ever been in tough situations, whether it's relationships or not. It's a relatable film. I know it gets a lot of flack for being drama school. I think that is completely... I've been in drama schools. I think that's very, very unfair. I think it's real raw. I think it's true to how kind of people are. And I really, really dug it. So that's my number 9 of the year.
Well, my number 8 will be Fighting with My Family. Another feel-good story that I was completely taken by surprise.
That's an honorable for me.
A movie about a subject matter that, when it comes to wrestling, that I did not think I would be attached to or would be interested in. But coming out of it, I just loved everything that I was learning about this movie, about the world of wrestling, but just also about just a really emotional story about a family that's trying to, have their dreams be sought out. And I think Florence Pugh does an incredible job. It was a great first impression for me, and I've loved her with everything throughout the rest of the year. She came out of
nowhere. She did.
And yeah, she came out of nowhere. And I think this movie came out of nowhere. Another underrated gem. I still keep remembering that. So, Fighting with My Family.
My number 8 is Little Women. Saw it yesterday. Go check out the review if you want to hear more of my thoughts. But that movie is fantastic all around. Had to get Greta on the list because it's just fantastic through and through. What's your number 7?
Number 7 is The Farewell. It can be very sad.
Good.
It can be
Great.
very emotional, but it needs to be. It still is such a funny movie. It has so much different levels of it across the board. But I think it's just very smart with what it's trying to say when it comes to, just cultural differences and how some people act differently than how we would act on other things. Awkwafina is really good in this movie, and I think this movie is finding a way to be able to be personal for just about every type of person who has gone through an experience like the character Awkwafina portrays had to go through. So number 7 for me is The Farewell.
My number 7 is Ford v Ferrari. I saw it twice. I loved it. The performances are Oscar worthy. The direction is Oscar worthy. And James Mangold brought a lot to that film. I really, really dug it. It was a bonding experience with me and my dad. It's a great story. It's been a conversation piece throughout 2019, and that it comes to number 7 for me because I had a lot of fun in that movie.
Yeah.
Number 7, Ford v Ferrari. What's your number 6?
Number 6 is Knives Out. I just saw this movie.
That's my number 6.
Is it really?
And I kicked out Once Upon a Time 4 Knives Out because I forgot about it.
wow.
Reviewing my list real fast because Kyle made me
I'm so
do this
happy
on the
you
fly.
did that
So
then.
my number 6 is also Knives Out because I just threw it on there and decided that's a good spot for
Oh, but I'm so glad you did because this movie is awesome. I just saw it the other day, and it was better
For the second time.
Yeah, I saw it the other day for the second time. What almost was a better viewing experience than the first time. Really, like everything about this movie works. The mystery about it, the intrigue, how the construction of these characters are. It also like takes a different toll with how to tell a mystery story, and it still is entertaining. It still is interesting to watch. I think it's just a very smart movie, and it's just one that I love.
It's
I love
fun,
it.
it's funny, it's witty, it's creative, it's smart writing, great characters. It gives you a twist right away, so you're completely thrown off. And it's a great film. Rian Johnson is one of the best filmmakers of the decade. He should make a Star Wars movie.
Oh,
The
God,
internet's on fire!
Triggered!
Anyway, Kyle, what is your number 5?
Number 5 is Rockin Man because Taron Egerton
Honorable
should get
mention for me.
nominated for an Oscar.
He should win because he's better than Rami. And I love Bohemian Rhapsody, but he was better as Elton.
But Rockin Man, not only was Taron Egerton great as Elton John and paid his respects to him so well, but I think this story was just interesting. I think for a biopic, it was just told in such a different way. It felt like a dreamy type of musical, but at the same time hit the dramatic beats just right. It was one of the few summer movies that I really think about the most, and I really enjoyed. And I remember seeing it many times in the theaters and just kept going back to loving it so much.
That movie's great. My number 5 is Midsommar.
Yeah.
Because this movie's fantastic. This is Fighting With My Family introduces you to Florence Pugh. This says who she is and why she's here to stay.
She doesn't need to be nominated for that.
It is creepy.
Yeah.
It's a character study of people and drama and relationships, and it's weird, it's wacky, it's not for everybody, but holy cow do I love it.
Mm-hmm.
And it has cemented Florence Pugh as a top actress working in Hollywood today that I want to see moving forward for the rest of time because she is that good.
Don't snub her Oscars. She was really
Well,
good.
they always do my girls dirty every year.
Yeah, always true. Number 4 is Marriage Story, and basically all the thoughts that Alex said previously. It's a really raw, emotional type of movie, but the acting is just so fantastic. You buy into both of their sides of the arguments when it comes to why they're breaking up in the first place. But you're just not entertained, but you're just enthralled into what the stories that they're telling, that they're trying to do. You understand both sides, and you just come out just feeling sad and defeated, but at the same time kind of motivated because you know that they did the right thing in the end. And I just think it was a very good story that director was able to tell.
I lean a little towards ScarJo. There's some stuff
Maybe you
Adam does.
Maybe you do choose a side. I'm just saying there's reasons for
My number 4 is Jojo Rabbit. I love Jojo Rabbit. Finally got a chance to see it a couple weeks ago. The movie is funny. It's more heartwarming and charming and devastating than I thought it was going to be as going in thinking it was just a straight satire. Mm-hmm. And Taika Waititi, after watching the finale of The Mandalorian to what he did in Thor Ragnarok to Jojo Rabbit, he is up there with a Denis Villeneuve, a Greta Gerwig, with these and a Ryan Coogler of just the top young talent moving in as all these older guys, like the Rat Pack back in the day with Steven Spielberg and George and Brian and all those directors with Francis, and it's this new wave moving in, and I love that. I love this young talent, what they bring. Jojo Rabbit is so interesting, creative. I love it.
Yeah.
What's your number 3?
Number 3 is The Lighthouse.
Did not make my list.
The Lighthouse.
I like it a lot.
I don't know. For some reason, I just keep thinking about The Lighthouse, and I'm like, what did I just watch? What did I experience? But at the same
would have
time,
been a great Joker.
That's what Robert Pattinson or Willem Dafoe would have been really good Jokers. But the movie, it's just one of those movies, those performances, that story that it was telling. It was just everything about that I just wanted. I wanted intrigue. I wanted to be interested in a different type of storytelling. I wanted to be feeling like I was in the world that they were in, that this director created, and that did that on all levels. It's just one of the movies that I'm going to keep thinking about when it comes to this year.
Yeah, great choice. My number 2 is Booksmart. This might be the highest a comedy's ever been, and it's incredible. It's very similar to Edge of 17. I like Edge of 17 a little more, but I loved Booksmart this year. I keep thinking about it. Whenever I think of the best movies of the year, I go back to, oh, wait a minute. I'm doing my number 2 right now.
Did you not do
number
your number
3?
Yeah, you didn't do your number 3.
My number 3.
I totally had no idea.
We'll go back to that in a minute here. My number 3 is Avengers Endgame, baby.
Ooh.
Number 3. This movie saw it 7 times in the theater. I don't even remember, but it's impactful. It's great. It's an interesting take on time travel. Avengers Endgame brought it was the end season finale of a great TV show we've been watching for the last 10 years. It was amazing. The performances were fantastic. It shouldn't get snubbed at the Oscars because no matter what anybody says, it's really good. It's a fun movie. What it did, it's the Star Wars of this generation. This really is the next big thing. There was Star Wars, there's Lord of the Rings, and then I think now it's the Marvel Universe with the Avenger movies. And they have cemented themselves for all time. I love this movie. It's fantastic. So sorry. We'll get to my number 2 in a minute.
Okay, now I'm wondering what your number 1 could be. I have one guess, but I'm not sure.
It's easy. You should know.
I probably should. What are we at, number 2?
You're at number 2.
Right, because, okay. Yeah, number 2 is Jojo Rabbit. I adore Jojo Rabbit so much. I think this might become my favorite Taika Waititi film that he's done in his career. It's so difficult to tell a story like this with it's set in like the world of Nazis and trying to root for a kid who's trying to become a Nazi, but somehow it's able to tell it in the most heartfelt way, in the most entertaining way, in the most enjoyable, funny way, but at the same time hit the dramatic beats when it needed to, not feel like it's attacking any sort of person who has their own certain type of beliefs, but it's just a story about a kid that's trying to know how to do the right thing while trying to learn to grow up at a time when he needs to most. And I think Taika just hits all the right buttons, does all the right things to tell that story. Because of all of those reasons, I have to put it on my number 2 because I just was so thoroughly entertained, surprised, and just so happy to have seen this movie.
Yeah, my number 2, obviously, Booksmart. Booksmart's great. It's funny. It's quippy. It's just a fantastic comedy. I had a lot of fun with it. I constantly think about it going over the time. But anyway, let's get into our number 1s. I know what Kyle's is, and he should know what mine is. Yours, I'm going to guess, yours is Avengers Endgame.
Is yours Ford versus Ferrari?
I already said Ford versus Ferrari. Clearly you weren't listening.
I don't know what yours is then. I have no
Peanut Butter Falcon. I've been talking about it all year.
That's
Peanut Butter Falcon's the best movie of the year.
Yeah.
It's charming. It's magical. It's Shia LaBeouf at his best, and he is an incredible actor. He's one of the best working. He really is. Dakota Johnson brings an incredible performance. The young kid brings an amazing performance, and that movie is by far. I was grinning through the whole thing because I was having so much fun watching people living their dreams, and that movie is by far the best film of 2019 up to this point. Yeah, yours is Endgame.
Yeah, mine is totally Endgame.
Not hard this year.
Just as a pure fanboy standpoint, this movie hit all the right buttons, did all the things and more that I ever thought this movie could do. It was just such a great tribute to all that was done in the past MCU movies, but also did a nice wrap-up for the 21, 22 movies that we've had. It's just such an amazing feat that this studio was able to do and to create, to just make this type of movie still feel so heartfelt, where we love these characters so much. It does all the fan service stuff right. Just was thoroughly entertained, loved this movie so much, and just pure bias standpoint, for the most part, it has to be at number 1 for me.
All right, guys, at 2019's ending, go check their Decades video out. Go check this one out. We've got Anticipated coming up. Remember to comment below all your thoughts. What is your list? Do you hate ours? Probably. Because ours stink. I'm just kidding. But comment below your thoughts. Remember to like, subscribe, and share. As always, thanks for watching, man.
See you guys.